Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. It's Kate here again. The topic I'm going to discuss tonight, it's who is your next of kin? Who is your next of kin? Are you a matured single living alone in the UK? Are you living alone? Are you a man or a woman working very hard? I know sometimes life can be very lonely here. Working so hard, you're saving, you're investing and everything. Sometimes a marriage might not be obviously it's not marriage is not for everyone. Maybe you've decided that obviously you're not going to get married, or maybe you've been married, you had a rough patch, you decided you're not going to remarry based on the um, past experience that you had. So now you are living alone. So all you do is to go to work, you come back, you take a shower, you go to bed. The next day, you're out again. You do long days, 12-hour shift back to back, and you're saving, you are grinding, you are investing and everything. But please don't stop, don't touch that die. Just listen to the advice I have to give to you. Life is not just about going to work, investing, planning, and everything. You need to put things in place. The thing is, whether you are married or you are single, but this video particularly is for people who are living alone. If you're over 28 years of age, you are here in the UK and you're living alone, whether you're a man or you're a woman, you need to watch this video to the end. So you need to, who is your next of kin? Remember, in the UK, there are two different types of next of kin. So in your hospital records, your GP records, you might have a next of kin as a friend. You just put a friend or a neighbor to say, okay, this person is my friend. I'm going to put their name down because obviously, because you are not married, maybe you don't have a child. So, or maybe you have young children and you say, okay, in case anything happens to you, because your children are still young, you're going to put your best friend's name down as the next of kin. Be very careful who you put down as your next of kin. A lot of people have lost their estate because they were naive. Be very careful who you put down as your next of kin. As a matter of fact, my advice would be if you don't have a husband or a wife, or maybe grown-up children that are over 18 years of age that you might want to use as your next of kin, because basically under the law, they are the ones that are entitled to your estate in case anything happens to you. Your best bet would be to do it professionally. Use a lawyer. Use a lawyer. And this is the reason why you should use a lawyer. If you use a lawyer, like a solicitor here in the UK, the person is obliged to do the right thing. Because solicitors, yeah, they are regulated people. So the person is obliged to do the right thing. They're not going to shortchange your family members. If you use a best friend, there's a possibility that that best friend that you when you were alive, you actually thought that that person has a lot of integrity. The person is an honest person. People change. Money is something that changes people. Greed. Something might just happen to you and they will change. Your children will not start, your young children will lose everything in your estate. As a matter of fact, they will not even start thinking of how to eliminate those children so that they can take everything from you, from your estate, so that nobody can question them. So be careful who you put down officially as your next of kin. And also remember, there are two different, the information you put down in your GP records doesn't have to be the same information that you're going to use to establish who is supposed to be the beneficiary of your estate, who you want to manage your estate. You might put a close friend in your health records with your GP practice. Okay, this close friend should be the one to manage my in case of emergency. Who should you call? So you put the best friend's name, but the records in your will or maybe say you die, you die without a will. Be careful, because that same friend that you put down in your health records may now become greedy and now come up when anything happens to you to claim that you actually officially put them down as your next of kin, and they might start dragging your estate with your family, your close family members. I have handled so many cases like that. So put um, be able to differentiate, seek appropriate legal advice to help you differentiate between next of kin, as in who should we call in case of an emergency when you have a health problem. There's a difference between that and your next of kin when it comes to managing your estate in case anything happens to you. And this is in particular if you are not married, or you don't even have a child, you don't have a child of your own here, or maybe you are a divorcee and you have an estate, you have a reasonable estate. Go and seek appropriate legal advice and make sure you put everything in place just the way you want it, because a lot of people have lost their estate to even strangers due to issues such as this, because we just keep thinking one thing about us as Black people, we don't like to remember that we're going to die. So if somebody comes to talk about, oh, have you got a will, you start saying, oh, God forbid, I reject it in Jesus' name. I'm not going to die. I'm going to live up to 150 years. But the thing is, a stitch in time saves nine. The fact that you have a will does not necessarily mean that you are going to die in another 20 years' time. It's just to be able to put things in place. You understand? So now I'm going to tell you the story about Clara and how she lost her estate to a complete stranger that is not related to her, is not from her tribe, was not even friends with her when she was alive. She lost all her estate here in the UK to this complete stranger. Totally. This woman took everything from her and was living big and was even telling people that when she was young in Nigeria, a prophecy came that in her old age, she was going to be a millionaire, that now she is a millionaire on another person's estate. Somebody who is not related to her, was not friends with her, is not even from the same tribe with her. She took over everything in that woman's estate because there was no accountable person on ground. The woman was well, I'm going to tell you the story. So let's go, let's do it. Let me take a seat and then I'll start the story about Clara. So Clara was a woman who, unfortunately, after a failed relationship, decided that she was not going to remarry, because the man that was supposed to marry her, that she was engaged to, disappointed her. So she decided she was never ever going to have anything to do with any man again in her lifetime. So what she was now doing, she was now working round the clock. Clara was a health visitor, a qualified midwife, a health visitor. Health visitors here, they assign them to different boroughs, and they go from they visit people, especially maybe women who have had their babies, so they come home to check the health of the baby and the health of the new mother, to see that they are okay. So she was doing this thing for over the years. She came into the UK in the 70s, so she trained and qualified as a health visitor, and she was working back to back. She had no social life. She was not even part of her village community. Sometimes they have this Nigerian community, village community. She was not interested in anything. She didn't drive. She didn't have. She wasn't mobile. She didn't have a car of her own. She was just walking around the clock, and she was saving all her money in the bank. And she managed to buy some properties. And at the time she died, all the properties were all mortgage free. So meaning that there were no debt on the properties. She owned them 100%. And I think a couple of years before she died, she adopted a child. But unfortunately, because of her work schedule, she didn't really bring in that child into the UK. She left that child with her family, her extended family members in Nigeria. So she kept on working and working and working. At a stage, there were these rumors that I think she became depressed because so she was so engrossed in her work life that she wasn't taking care of her personal, the personal hygiene was zero. Everything about her, even her hair, she was not taking care of herself. She was just on about working, and she would not entertain anybody coming to visit her, even coming to knock on her door, even giving her any kind of phone call. It is said that even sometimes some people in the community, sometimes they offer her a ride, even when they offer her a ride, she will want to stop like 5 or 10 minutes away from her house, but she didn't want anybody to come close to her. So she was mind, you know how it is here. So because they understood that she wanted her privacy, they gave her that space. So she was doing her thing. But people knew her around within the community. And then lo and behold, a couple of years back now, she took ill. So she took ill. I think the consultants already gave her a date when she was to come in for her surgery. And then she didn't have anybody. She didn't have close friends. She didn't have nobody. She was just in the community, just working and all of that. So it will appear that another woman who is of a Yoruba woman, now she confided in that woman to say, "Can you help me? Can you follow me to the hospital?" Like obviously, because she said, "Oh, they advised her to come along with somebody. They needed somebody to be there to support her." And because she didn't have anybody, she saw that this woman was kind, so she approached the woman who is also part of the community. The woman accepted to follow her to the hospital. I don't know what may have transpired because she never made it out of the surgery. Even before they carried out the operation on her, she passed on, unfortunately. So now this other woman that followed her, remember, she's not related to her. She's not friend. She's just like, hello, hello. They just had this rapport. So she started panicking and said, oh, I don't speak the same language as this woman. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to find somebody who speaks the same language as her in the community. So she now panicked, went and told another woman who now said, oh, since this woman, the thing is, in this country, if somebody dies intestate, that's without a will, and there's no husband, no child, no family member that comes forward to claim the estate now automatically goes to the state. So the state now claims the estate. So this other woman, when she was now an elderly woman, when she was now invited to say, okay, this is what is happening to your sister, because that other woman from the western part of Nigeria did not understand the difference. She actually thought that they are from the same place. So she would say, you people, you speak the same language. You are from the West. I don't know what to do. This woman has died. Can you see what you can do? So the other woman was never friends with the disease, was never related to her, was not in good terms with her, now took on this matter, sprang into action, got her a lawyer. They now started working on how so that the state will not take on this woman's estate. Went to the woman's house, they started searching, got the diary, got some names of the family members in Nigeria, was now liaising with them, wanted them to get her a power of attorney. Remember, she's not from the same place, not from the same state. They were not friends. They were not related. She had no business whatsoever to want to take on that woman's estate for herself, for her own financial advantage. But she became greedy. She might have had a good intention from the beginning. But as humans, the moment she saw the worth of this estate, this is an estate that was worth more than 1 million. So there were properties the properties were all mortgage free. This woman had money, a lot of money in her bank accounts, in her savings. So by the time she saw, she needed the power of fat son because she was not related. She's not related to the woman in any way because there's no way she can go and obviously access the woman's bank account and everything. So the moment they got the death certificate, she got the written power of attorney from the family members in Nigeria. Greed setting. Meanwhile, she promised them that she was just helping them. She would get everything. She would even bring in the adopted son and one of the family members to come in so that they can take over the estate. But greed setting. So by the time she assessed this deceased woman's bank account and calculated everything, great setting. So she started doing things for her own financial benefit, was now not giving the family members back home the full details of what actually was going on. The only thing she did, or empty the woman's the house where the disease was lived, her house, emptied, got a container load, emptied all the woman's wrappers, clothing, shoes, kitchen utensils, and everything, and then sent them money to clear those things, and I think gave them 200,000 naira. In her mind, that was what they were worth, and that was what they deserved. But she also failed to remember that this woman had a son, an adopted child who was in Nigeria, who needed also to be taken care of, who was still a minor. I remember partly actually advising partly to that effect that adopted child should be brought into the country so that a trust fund can be set up for him. It would have been so easy because obviously knowing that the child is an adopted child, the mother's estate had a reasonable amount here in the UK. It would have been very easy to look for an accountable adult, another family member to come in with that child so that they can manage the woman's estate, set up a trust fund for that boy. There was enough money, even if it meant that boy, even putting him in a private school and all of that. I gave my own part of the advice to that effect. But obviously, greed. So she wouldn't have it. She was now doing things, now not picking up the phone calls of the family members. So they started agitating. They were helpless because they are there back home in Nigeria. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know what to do and all of that. So she wrapped up everything, assessed the woman's account, put out the properties out for rent, was collecting the rent, started renovating her own property, bought a house for herself in Nigeria. Now remember, she's not related to this deceased person. They are not from the same tribe. They are not from the same village. They are not related in any way. She's not even the extended family member. They were not even friends when this woman was alive. So our prayer is that it is said that even when this woman was alive, that they usually don't see eye to eye, that they were like cat and rat. May God not allow our enemies to inherit what belongs to us. So I used to wonder then, how does she sleep at night? Now remember, we're not talking about somebody who is 25 years of age or 30 years of age or 22 years of age. We're talking about an elderly person, a pensioner, that should be able to know the difference between right and wrong. And she has left Nigeria a long time. Not that she was not hungry or poor herself. She has been here in the UK for more than, I think, by my calculation, maybe over 50 years or 60 years. So you would have thought that by now her mentality should have changed. It will appear also that most of the things she was doing, she didn't tell her children about what she was doing. Because with children who were raised here, one or two among them would have stopped her, or they would have even reported it that, Mom, what you are doing is illegal. So she kept everything to herself. She was enjoying her life. She carried out a big renovation in her house. She was buying things. She was paying for people's she was just spending the money like her money, as if she was even related to the woman. And then the adopted child of this woman was in Nigeria suffering. So took over the bank account. So this, thankfully, the people in the family members in Nigeria, they started looking for contacts of people within the Igbo community, their own immediate village, ethnic community here in the UK. So somehow people, but this took time because we're talking about this took over 1 year because this woman had already, you know, misappropriated these funds and was living like, even saying that, oh, she's doing them a favor, that they wouldn't have even known that the woman died. The government would have taken over. The UK government would have taken over everything, that they're even lucky that they got a few things, that people are so ungrateful. What are they disturbing her for, calling her up and down and all of that? She had now this feeling of entitlement. So lo and behold, it took a long time. This should be because at this time, I was like saying, how does this woman sleep at night? Why is she not even scared? What if I just felt that what if the spirit of this disease now just comes to start haunting her to say, why have you taken over my estate? Do I know you? You are not my sister. You are not my aunt. You are not my mother. I'm not related to you. I'm not even from the same town or tribe as you. Why? So, like, I couldn't understand the audacity and the effrontery that this woman was displaying. Anyway, lo and behold, I think a couple of years, it was after 2 or 3 years, everything had died down. She thought that she had gotten away with everything. I think she started receiving letters. They contacted another firm of solicitors here, told them the whole thing. Some other people in the community also, they started talking about it, and they came together to say what she did was wrong, because it's like this was a case of theft. She took over a deceased person's estate, a person who is not related to her whatsoever, not even from the same tribe as her, wasn't even her friend, wasn't her auntie, wasn't her daughter, wasn't related. She took over the estate just because this woman was living alone, did not have a husband, did not have any children, did not have no family. And again, I must say, for people who are living alone, please put things in place. Have one or two friends, or let your family members in Nigeria, let them know what you are doing. Let them know what you are doing. In case of an emergency, put somebody's name. We're not saying by doing that you are going to die. We pray that we all live long into our old age, but just in case, let your family members that's again the reliable ones. Let them know where your things are, who to call. Get a solicitor here, let them know, and get a will in place. So if you are in the UK, you are in diaspora here, you are living alone, whether you are a man or you are a woman, whether you are a divorcee, if you have children, let your children know what you are doing. If the children are still young, then get somebody that can, a reliable person, a professional that can protect the interest of your children, because that's another ball game again. It's possible that you can make a friend your next of kin. The friend, if anything happens to you, the friend will now come and change your children, push your children out of the way and take over everything. Human beings are very, very, very unreliable when it comes to anything that has to do with money. As a matter of fact, you cannot actually tell who is going to be loyal to you until something happens. And this is one thing I keep saying. People actually think that they have enemies. When we are alive, we actually think that we have enemies, and we know who our enemies are, we know who our friends are. To be quite honest, it is until you die, when you are lifeless, when you are clueless, there's nothing you can do, you can't take any action. Only when we die, that's when we know who our true enemies are. I said this because I've handled a lot of cases where people who pretended to deceased people when they were alive, that they loved them so much. When these people finally died, these enemies actually now came out full force and now show their true colors. Men, I must also warn you, be careful. Be careful. Remember, your wife legally, she's your next of kin. But a lot of times men would want to go and use either their brother or their sister as next. Stop causing problems for your children in case anything happens to you. If you cannot even use your wife as your next of kin, use your children as your next of kin. You can actually put a clause in the will to say everything you are leaving for your wife is for your children. If the children are not of age, But if the children are up to the age of 21, you can actually join them alongside their mom so that whatever it is they are doing that has to do with sorting out your estate, they will be working together. And I've also seen cases where even mothers and their children, they turn against each other upon the death of the father. You see that the son, the first son, there's a particular family, the first son started fighting the mother and wanted to take everything from the mother, even though the mother was still legally married to the dad at the time the dad died. So you see money, and clearly the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evils. You see, money turns people into monsters. Money turns people into monsters. So be careful. For men, if you're a married man, you have children, get a will in place. That you have a will in place doesn't mean that you are going to die. It doesn't mean, it's just that you are just, you're just kind of, you're sorting everything out for your children in case anything happens. Men, stop using your brothers and your sisters. Married men, stop using your brothers and your sisters as your next of kin. That is the dumbest thing to do. This is what happens when you use your brother and your sister as your next of kin. When you die, your children will be left homeless. They normally will not care for your children. Your children will now become housemates for their own children. You might be doing it thinking that you don't want your wife to take your money to go and marry another man. But you remember, your brother has his own wife, his own family, his own gates. You have your own wife, your own family, your own gates. So when you leave your wife and your children and you go and put your brother as your next of kin, in fact, you are endangering your life, because there have been cases where the brother will even start planning to eliminate you, so that, because he already knows that he's your next of kin. So if you don't want to use your wife, use your children at least. If you are scared that maybe you don't trust your wife, use your children. If your children are not old enough, join them together with their mom and specify who owns what in the will and who should be the administrator of the will. This is very, very important. So back to the story of Clara. A couple of years later, luckily the extended family members got in touch with another person here who now got in touch with the solicitor, and they reopened the case. Lo and behold, they saw that this woman, who is not related to the deceased, was not friends with her, is not even from the same tribe or from the same village, had taken over the whole of the estate. So when the case was reopened, they took everything back from her. Unfortunately, I don't know how that case was managed, because what I heard is that the government now actually, the estate now went back into the coffers of the government. So I don't know, of the state. I don't know why that is. Well, I don't know. I think maybe they did not get a responsible adult family member, because none of them was here. None of them is here. As a matter of fact, none of this woman's family members, not even the adopted child, nobody is here to protect her interests. So at the end of the day, the whole estate, everything went back into the state. They took it back. But at that time, she had already spent some amount of, I think I heard that she went to prison or something like that. So what am I, the lesson here, be careful. If you are living alone, you don't, either you are a man or you are a woman, or and you don't, nobody's living with you, you don't have family members here, you don't have a cousin. If you have a cousin here, you are living alone, let them know what you are doing. Let them know what you are doing. You have a nephew or a niece, let them know, just be close to one or two of them, let them know what you are doing. Very, very important. And you are living alone, don't be a recluse, don't just, take yourself away from the community. Be part of some, they have some organizations, different groups. Look for your town's meeting here, because they have different groups here in the UK. Look for your town's meeting. Even if you don't have your townspeople, there must be some other groups close to your state that maybe they speak the same language as you. Go and enroll in that group. If they are paying monthly dues, pay the monthly dues. You are doing it so that there will be so that there will be somebody who can help you just in case something happens. There have been cases where some people, they go to work, come back, and they just die inside the house. Nobody knows anything. Maybe after 2, 3, 4 weeks, the neighbors will now say, "Oh, something is smelling," or that they've seen maggots or flies around that in front of that house. Before you know, the police will be called, and they will now break into the house and find the person's lifeless body. Get involved in the community. Don't just live your life like a recluse. Let the people back home also know the things you are doing, the things you own. And I know sometimes it's difficult. It's like when you tell them the things you own every day, they are calling you to say, "Oh, they want money, they want money." If you don't want to do that, maybe get a will, take that will, hand it over to the solicitor, then give the solicitor 2 or 3 names of telephone number of who to call, or email address, just in case they change their phone within that period. Email address normally will not change for a long time. So email address of who to email to or who to contact in Nigeria in case anything happens to you. Get a will in place. The reason why I say solicitor, because solicitors are regulated, at least the damage won't be so extreme to the extent that they will take everything, because they know that because they are regulated, they are going to lose their license, and they will definitely now have to do the right thing. You understand? So if let's say you are a single, you're a woman, you're a single mother, and you have children, and the children are young, do the same thing. Get a will in place. Get a will in place. If the children are more than 18, call the first and second one, at least let them know the things that you have and who to call in case anything happens, that will support them, that will help them, or tell them about the solicitor to say, in case anything happens, this is where you should go to, this is who you should call to support you people. And then to liaise with the people in Nigeria to be able to sort out your estate. Don't leave your children in the dark. Don't. It's enough that for God forbid that maybe the parent is no more, and then they don't know what to do, and then now they'll be taken in by the children's services, and maybe they will now take them into foster care. So, but if you're able to plan all these things to say, okay, you have a will in case something happens, maybe an auntie or a sister should come over and then try and sort out these children. It will make things a little bit easier for the children. And also, even if the children's father is still alive, as much as you might not want your ex to be a beneficiary of your estate, you can just say, okay, these are the telephone number of the father of the children. Just in case anything happens, they can contact the father of the child, so that child or the children can have a little bit of stability, rather than losing their mom and then not even knowing where their biological father is, that can be contacted, and you see them now living with either maybe with neighbors or friends or something. And sometimes this innocent children, they can now fall into the hands of pedophiles, and they would now start sexually abusing them. So get your acts together, get things in place. Be careful who you make your next of kin, because that next of kin may now turn themselves into next of king, and will now start dictating who runs the show, who runs your estate. Will not even want to now start working hand in hand in order to steal everything from your estate at the detriment of the beneficiaries of your estate. I think the next episode, I'm going to talk about who owns what under the UK law, intestate law, who owns what, just in case you die and you don't have a will. And I will tell you the loopholes and why it is important for you to have a will, so that you can at least protect the interest of your loved ones in case anything happens to you. You don't want your estate to be taken over by your enemies. There have been cases where a woman may have been divorced from her husband, and then the husband now comes back to now come and claim her estate, even though he abused this woman, did not treat her well, abandoned her, and went back to Nigeria to remarry. You understand? So be careful. Get your acts together. Make sure everything is wrapped up. Make sure that those who are the rightful beneficiaries of your estate are indeed the ones who end up benefiting from your estate. And the ball is in your court. It only depends on you to do the right thing, to protect your children, to protect your spouses, to protect also your extended family members who are your direct dependents at the time you were alive. So I hope you may have taken one or two things from this short story, and the story of Clara, a very pathetic story, a situation whereby somebody who is not related to you actually had the audacity, the effrontery to take over a deceased person's estate and actually be enjoying the proceeds of that estate without collecting the rent, dressing up, going about buying, investing in her own properties from the proceeds of this woman's estate, emptying the bank account, and at the same time also saying that she's doing the extended family members who are in Nigeria a favor. And all of this only happened because the woman in question did not project, did not understand that life is transient and one day we will all not be here, and did not plan enough to protect the interest of her adopted child and, of course, the interest of some of her extended family members who were dependent on her. Please, if you've been blessed by this short video, please click on the like button and continue to share. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are actually still growing this channel. Like you see now, we are like, I think about, is it 50 something or 60 something? So please share this particular video as much as possible. Subscribe and continue to comment and to click on the like button. I want this platform to be as interactive as possible. Please, I don't like people who say negative things. I'm not there for a while. And not come here, come cost me, because I heard that there are these people who troll YouTubers and they insult them. Don't insult me, I'm older than you. So just come here. I just want that positive vibes. We're here to learn and to empower people, to help them as much as possible, so that obviously, because ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So that poor woman, obviously, she's resting now, unknown to her, that somebody she's not even related to took over her estate. You understand? So don't be that person who keeps your family in lack, while strangers will now end up taking over your estate. Do the right thing. Get a will in place. Sort out your will. Get a qualified solicitor in place. Get a financial advisor. Sit down with the financial advisor. Let them advise you as to what your true position is, so that you can wrap up everything about you and your estate to protect your children and to protect your loved ones. Thank you very much for watching. I will be on your way soon. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.